The Choice of the Heart. Golden afternoon light filtered through the delicate curtains of Sweet Memories Bakery, illuminating tiny dust motes that danced like memories in the air. Naomi Okafor sat perfectly still in her wheelchair, her eyes fixed on a simple white cake. 22 small candles flickered in the quiet room, marking another birthday she was celebrating in silence. Then the bell above the door chimed softly. A man in his early 30s stepped inside, followed by his 6-year-old daughter, a little whirlwind of laughter and curiosity, clutching a small, brightly wrapped gift. When the girl noticed Naomi sitting alone, she tugged at her father's sleeve and whispered something with great urgency. The man smiled gently and approached Naomi's table. "Excuse me," he said, his tone warm and careful. "Would you mind if we joined you?" Naomi blinked, startled. People didn't usually ask to sit with her, not without being paid to do so. Before she could answer, the little girl stepped forward, holding out a small cupcake topped with a single star-shaped candle. "My name's Amara," she said brightly. "This is for you. I made it with Daddy this morning. We come here every year because it's my mommy's birthday, too. She's in heaven now, but Daddy says she can still see us celebrating." Naomi's throat tightened. The child's innocent honesty pierced straight through the walls she'd built around her heart. The man, David, smiled softly. "I'm David, and that's a lovely cake. No one should have to celebrate alone." Naomi could only nod, her voice lost somewhere between tears and disbelief. When Amara began singing Happy Birthday in her off-key little voice, Naomi closed her eyes and made a wish, the first she had made in 4 years. It was simple. She wished not to be alone anymore. Naomi Okafor was the daughter of Chike Okafor, the powerful CEO of Okafor Technologies, a man who could move markets, but not his own heart. 4 years earlier, a car crash had stolen her ability to walk, and in many ways, her father's ability to love. He had provided her with everything money could buy: a mansion, a team of nurses, the best doctors, endless luxuries, but not his presence. Her world was built on silence, long, echoing silences between her father's phone calls, his business meetings, and the hollow birthdays he tried to fill with wire transfers. David Mensah, on the other hand, carried his sorrow differently. A widower and carpenter, he'd lost his wife, Adisa, during childbirth. For 5 years, he'd raised Amara alone, teaching her that joy and grief could share the same heart. His workshop smelled of fresh sawdust and peace. Every chair and table he built was a quiet prayer for permanence in a changing world. Amara had her mother's bright eyes and her father's empathy, the kind of compassion that made her notice lonely people. "Everyone needs a friend," David often told her. "Sometimes you just have to be brave enough to offer it first." That's why Amara had walked up to Naomi that day, and why David followed. In the weeks that followed, that single moment grew into something beautiful. They began meeting regularly at a small park. Amara would feed the ducks and talk about her drawings, while David and Naomi shared long, gentle conversations. David never stared at her wheelchair. He simply saw her the way sunlight caught her hair, the soft laugh she tried to hide. Their talks drifted from books and childhood memories to deeper things: grief, courage, and the quiet ache of loneliness. David spoke of Adisa not with pain, but with love that had softened over time, a love that had become wisdom. Naomi, in turn, began sharing her own story: the crash, the endless sterile days in the hospital, the way her father had spoken to doctors about her as if she were a damaged investment, and the crushing loneliness of being treated as a patient, never a person. Through it all, Amara would pull Naomi into her make-believe worlds, where wheelchairs could fly and sadness was just another color in the paint box. One afternoon, as they sat in their usual cafe, Amara was coloring while David watched Naomi laugh. In that moment, he realized he was falling for her, quietly, naturally, as if his heart had simply found its rhythm again. Naomi must have felt it too. Their eyes met, and for a long moment the world faded. They were two broken souls who somehow fit together, not despite their scars, but because of them. David reached out, his rough hand brushing hers. "Naomi," he said softly, "you need to know, Amara and I aren't here because we feel sorry for you. We're here because you make our days better. You make us better." Tears filled Naomi's eyes. "I don't know how to do this," she whispered. "Neither do I," David replied, with a tender smile. "But maybe we can figure it out together."
Their days became small miracles, folding origami cranes, reading stories, watching Amara dance in the park. But peace has a way of attracting storms. Chike Okafor had been watching from a distance. When his investigators reported that Naomi was spending time with a carpenter, his fury ignited. In his mind, David was nothing more than a predator chasing his daughter's fortune. He summoned Naomi to his study, a cold room filled with the glow of stock tickers. "You will cease all contact with this man immediately," he ordered. "He's using you. What else could a man like that want from someone like you?" Naomi stared at him in disbelief. "Someone like me?" she echoed bitterly. "You mean your broken daughter, the one you can't even look at because she reminds you that you're not God?" "Naomi, I'm protecting you," he snapped. "No," she said quietly. "You're controlling me. David and Amara see me. When was the last time you did?" Chike's eyes turned cold. "If you keep seeing him, I'll destroy his business. Don't test me." Naomi knew he meant it. That night, her hands shaking, she sent a text. "I can't see you anymore. Please don't contact me. I'm sorry." The words cut through her like glass. David read the message over and over, his heart shattering. When Amara found him sitting in the dark, she asked softly, "Daddy, why are you sad?" "Miss Naomi can't see us anymore," he said, voice breaking. Amara thought for a long moment, then said, "But she loves us. I know she does. She smiles different when she sees us." Days passed in silence, heavy, suffocating silence. On the fourth day, when Amara asked if Naomi didn't want them because they weren't rich, something inside David snapped. He refused to let his daughter grow up believing love depended on money. They drove to the Okafor mansion, a towering fortress of steel and silence. The guard wouldn't let them in. Amara pressed her tiny face between the gates and cried out, "Miss Naomi, we miss you. Please come back." Her voice carried through the night, pure, small, and unstoppable. Inside the mansion, Naomi heard her. The sound shattered her. She wheeled to the window and saw them standing there, David's strong frame, Amara's little hands gripping the gate. In that moment, something inside Naomi snapped back into place. Enough obedience, enough fear. It was time to choose. She took the service elevator down, avoiding her father's guards. Maria, the old cook, opened the back door for her with tears in her eyes. "Be happy, mija," she whispered. Naomi rolled out into the cold rain, her arms burning with effort, but her heart blazing with freedom. She pushed through the wet streets until she reached Sweet Memories Bakery. The same bell chimed as she entered, soaked and trembling, and there they were, David and Amara, sitting at that same table, looking as lost as she felt. "Naomi!" Amara cried, running into her arms. "You came back! I told Daddy you loved us!" David rose, taking in her drenched clothes and trembling frame. He took off his jacket and wrapped it around her shoulders. "You're freezing," he murmured. "What are you doing here?" Naomi looked up, rain and tears on her cheeks. "I'm choosing. For the first time in 4 years, I'm choosing. I choose you. I choose Amara. I choose us." David knelt beside her. "Naomi, your father, he could ruin everything." Naomi placed her hand on his face. "Let him try. I've already lost my legs. I refuse to lose my heart, too." The door burst open. Chike Okafor stood there, soaked, furious, trembling. "Naomi, enough of this nonsense. You're coming home." Before Naomi could answer, Amara stepped between them, a tiny shield with a mighty heart. "You're mean," she said bravely. "You're my daddy, but you're mean. My daddy says family means being there, not just paying for things. You make Miss Naomi cry. That's not what daddies are supposed to do." Chike froze. Her words hit him harder than any boardroom defeat. "I'm protecting her," he said weakly. "No," she said, "you're controlling me. David and Amara see me. When was the last time you did?" Chike's voice broke the silence. "Dad, when I woke up in that hospital, paralyzed and terrified, do you know what I needed? Not the best doctors, not the finest machines. I needed you to hold my hand." Chike's face crumbled. His walls, built of pride and guilt, finally shattered. He stepped forward, eyes full of tears, and whispered, "I'm so sorry, Naomi." And for the first time in years, he wrapped his daughter in his arms. Outside, the rain finally stopped. Inside the bakery, 3 hearts and 1 mended soul began to heal. Naomi had chosen love over fear, and love, as it turned out, had been waiting for her all along.